Broads Media.
Hey! What? Hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome on in. Can't wait to hang out with you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you want more Broads Media content your way, every Monday and Thursday morning at 11 a.m., things will change this Monday because it's a holiday with Memorial Day, but bear with me. You have access to Coffee with Broads, 11 a.m. Monday and Thursday on the normal schedule. You're not going to want to miss it. You also get access to our Discord channel where I keep you up to date on some updates, and we talk during the game is live chatting, and that's what you get for joining memberships here, $4.99 a month. Can't wait to hang out with you. And yeah, man, that's it. Enjoy the show. This team just finds ways to kick ass, and if you're not enjoying it, you're a joke. Enjoy the show, everybody. Have a good one. This can't be real life. There's no other way to put it. If you are a Phillies fan right now, somebody needs to spit on your face and smack you, call you daddy, and see if you're actually awake. Because this can't be real. 37 wins through 51 games. They sweep the Texas Rangers. The starters go 7 innings basically every night. And if they don't, the bullpen comes in the 5th inning and has Taijuan Walker's back. And realistically, I thought Taijuan Walker could have really blown up in the 1st inning when Bryson Stott and Bryce Harper had a miscommunication on a pop-up, a routine damn pop-up, and in years past, this team would fold. That would snowball into one of the worst efforts ever because there would be so many mental mistakes and so many errors. Instead, Brandon Marsh with a cannon to third base with a beautiful outfield assist, and Rob Thompson has the quote of the year in the late stages of May. My point is, this is a special group. And what I'm not going to do is waste my time any longer after I put this on notice for this specific second. But I will no longer waste my time on the people that are stupid, who are from different towns, who don't even spend their time watching 1 inning of Phillies baseball, let alone 9 every single night. I'm not going to give any sort of emotion towards them anymore. Instead, I need to give it all to the Phillies. Because right now it's a split of 85-15. Every single show I take about, 7-8 minutes just to rip dopes who think that the Phillies aren't good due to their schedule. It's not worth it anymore. I know what a great team looks like that has it. 2017 Eagles had it. The 2022 Eagles had it. Even though they came up just shy, when a team goes on a journey, there's a feeling. And when you know what that feeling is like, it is a huge benefit. So it doesn't matter what outsiders feel. I know how Rob Thompson is handling this internally. And he's keeping everyone grounded in such a Rob Thompson way. But if you hear Matt Strom, who spoke on WIP with Scott Fransky, and he said, other teams have won championships, I should probably lay out the actual question first, or the statement first, so then that even had context to it, but I'll play it. We'll get to a situation where I play it, and then you just pretend like this never happened. But okay, let's go to Rob Thompson. This was Wednesday night with an all-timer that's going to make the Philadelphia Phillies yearbook when they end up having the Commissioner's Trophy in their hand, and Dave Dombrowski is on the buses going down Broad Street, all right, and seeing all sorts of things. People going streaking, people funneling 7 beers to see how quickly they can do it, tailgating, cholesterol-free bacon, not bacon burger, a black bean burger, please. See how sad that is? I'm 29 years old now. The fact that I got to look out for vegan options so my cholesterol doesn't rise instead of actually mucking down 7 fat-ass beefy cheeseburgers and slamming a 12-pack while watching Kyle Schwarber give people fist pumps walking down whatever street they're partying on. That's how much belief I have in this team being great, is me just laying out that hypothetical and knowing deep down that that's truly going to happen. And yes, even the black bean burger part. All right, here's Topper.
This is the best 50-game start since the 2001 Mariners. 116.
What'd they do?
They won 116 games. They were pretty good.
They won on what?
116.
116. But what'd they do at the end?
They did not win the championship.
That's right. So you got to keep going. You know, it's you just got to keep grinding, keep pushing all the way through.
Dude, that's fucking sick. That is Rob Thompson in his purest form. When he shows why he's great, it's electric, which is ironic because he's got zero emotion like that. He's even as hell, and he just has one way about his motor. But when he hits the right strings, and when he hits it at the right time with the right sort of demeanor about it, it's a chef's kiss. It's a chef's kiss. What do you want me to say about this club other than elite, legit, complete? Every single night. And imagine having to play a perfect game to even have a chance to beat the Phillies. If you're doing what the Rangers did this weekend, you're screwed. Because they're throwing balls over to first base that hits their first baseman right in the glove. He drops it. Over at shortstop, Corey Seager. You know, listen, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm trying to go down the shore. We want to hit Wildwood, Margate. I got the Seagulls in my mind. But Corey Seager is sitting there. Kyle Seager flips the ball up, and he ends up just randomly throwing it to nobody. How about Brandon Marsh getting picked off in between first and second base? They have him. He's a dead out, and the ball goes into the outfield, and there you go. You're just killing them. And then on Thursday afternoon, with Merrifield, there's an error. He stays on the bases. Christian Pache, of all people, smacks around the triple. You're always going to do everything, every game. You're going to do everything, every game. Everything that's needed, every game. Bullpen, okay. Defense, okay. Kyle Schwarber walking, okay. This is my favorite about this team. Rangers go up 1-0 early on Wednesday, right? Within seconds, Phillies tied up. You can never feel good. And then there's the games where they can't score for a little bit of time until they do, and then they do just enough. So that's why I claimed they do everything every night, because whatever is needed, whatever is dictated throughout the pace of that night, Phillies win. JT Realmuto is on fire. Home runs after home runs. Boom. Knocks in a run every at-bat. Every at-bat. That's what it feels like, at least. Your starting pitching's crazy. They respond so quickly. Or if the Rangers make it a 4-2 game when it was once a 4-1 game, so they're starting to cut into the lead, Nick Castellanos home run. Just to add that little extra sweetener. Just to pull away a hair. But it's enough for them to know, all right, we're already scrapping to try our very best to make it a 2-run game instead of a 3-run game. Now they make it a 3-run game again? We don't have the firepower to keep up. And some of the starters that they're facing are serious. Trevor Williams with the net, serious. John Gray, serious. They just don't look as much of a threat when the team is as deep as the Phillies are. Bryson Stott, Castellanos, Brandon Marsh. Think about how deep they are in the batting order. So I'm looking for the Scott Fransky cut. I know WIP had it. Here it is. Matt Strom. Here it is. So this was the one I mentioned about. The team has done something tonight that no Phillies team has ever done, and that's win 36 of your first 50. And it's a really short clip, so I'll just read it. And Matt Strom says, yeah, but others have won a World Series. So I want to separate Rob Thompson, Matt Strom, the way they're talking about this, to the clubhouse and then the fan base as well, because I don't think the fans should not appreciate this without any sort of knowledge on if they win the championship or not, right? Like, for example, Rob saying, yeah, the 116 games that the Marlins or the Mariners won that one season, it's all for nothing because they lost and didn't win. When Rob Thompson speaks, there's a reason why his relationship with this clubhouse is so strong and they're very connected, because he doesn't throw his players under the bus publicly. He says the right things all the time. He shows belief in his guys, and the way that he does that is decisions on the field and then how he supports those vocally, publicly as well. So when he's talking out loud, sure, he might be physically talking to the media and physically talking to the audience and the consumers, which is the city and the fan base, but the clubhouse hears everything. And I like that approach from a leader in the clubhouse to the team. So that's one side of it. The other side is with the fans. No, you can enjoy winning 116 regular season games knowing that there's still a championship to win. And yet, the 2011 team is a perfect example of a great regular season team with a ton of talent on paper, and the St. Louis Cardinals have robbed us from a powerful, positive moment for the rest of our lives. But during the run of 2011, you can't take away what the anticipation was and the adrenaline was, thinking of what they could do in the playoffs and feeling really good about them. If it ends up in heartbreak, so be it. But I like the fact that I can watch a team from April to the end of September and in the early stages of October, and it be so important to watch every night. Think about it. It was a Thursday afternoon game at 1 o'clock, and it is the talk of town as if it's Pacers-Celtics Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Every single game, because of the epic start and the historic run to begin the year, there's so many crazy facts and stats getting thrown around back to the 1800s. It's such an elite run. And I'm supposed to pretend like that isn't fun in the moment? Of course it is. So, Rob, love it. Absolutely beautiful message. Stand behind it 1,000% when you're looking at every single one of your players in the eyes when they're in uniform getting ready for a game or after a game. Especially when you have JT Realmuto starting down the countdown of how many more wins they need, and we start to see champagne bottles and a bunch of goggles and Ranger Suarez doing more viral dances. So I love it there. But from the fans' level, I'm taking a totally different angle from Rob with it. And the crazy part about this team, compared to that run that happened with Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Cole Hamels, is after that crazy 07, the 08 championship happened. And then from there, it was trying to repeat, losing to the New York Yankees in the World Series the following year. And then you continue to decline one step lower season after season. NLCS, NLDS, and it just absolutely plummeted. Slowly, it was a slow death to the Odubel Herreras and Mike Francos of the world, the Gabe Kaplers of the world. It was such a strange dynamic compared to what we're doing now, which is watching them blossom together and figure out season after season how to win. Instead of in 08, all the winning came together and smacked you. And by the way, real quick, just going to blurt this in there in regards to what does the competition mean and does it really matter as long as they win. They played the Rays in the World Series, right? Go back and look at what was going down in the ALCS and what could have been if you didn't face the Tampa Bay Rays. Sometimes it just happens to go a certain way. That's out of your control, dude. What is in your control is beating up on these teams, and you're even doing it on good teams, too. A lot of the records are under 500 because they had to face the Phillies and lost 3 times in a row. Stop with that. Come on. The Baltimore Orioles are a great team. I just watched them get swept by the St. Louis Cardinals, who are not very good, by the way. Swept. So I don't want to hear it when the Phils see the champions in front of 40,000 people as if it's a playoff game. I've seen wild card atmospheres in other cities sound like it does on a random-ass Thursday in the middle of the afternoon. Whether it's a weather day or not for the kids down there at the ballpark, still, for it to be popping to this insane level, it's more than just a weather night bringing people in. I saw actually a couple people throw up some pictures almost as if it's a time hop. So 3 years ago today, I was at the Phillies game and you saw so many wide open blue seats, okay? There weren't a lot of bodies there at all. And then 3 years later on the same day, there was pretty much everywhere covered except for the top upper deck out in right field. There were a few seats up there. But remember, it's a Thursday at 1 o'clock. That got pushed back really to 1:45. I was a little confused. I didn't see any rain in the South Jersey area or whatever, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was like in Philly. I got home and it was almost just about starting, so I had some things to do. Got a new tattoo. Listen, as much as I can go. I need more, obviously. I'm not satisfied enough where we got to attack the leg sleeve. Then I got home and Brooklyn was crying, and then she went to sleep, and then she woke up and started crying and screaming her head off. It was one of those nights where I had to constantly go in 3 times. Rocker, I got twinkle, twinkle, little star stuck in my head. I'm sure she's appreciating this beautiful sound, my vocals, and twinkle, twinkle, little star on a night-to-night basis just getting whispered in her ear. I do think that that's something maybe I will think about, is potentially a nursery rhyme Broads media pod for the kids. Sort of like Miss Rachel, if you're familiar. But I digress. Bryce Harper goes no batting gloves. You know how hard it is to look good with no batting gloves? Somehow Bryce Harper does it. Wait until we get Bryce Harper's hot streak, dude. I could say that about 3 or 4 players on this team, that we haven't even seen them take off yet. We haven't seen them explode yet. We are still waiting. Yet 37-14. Matt Strahm, Jeff Hoffman, Alvarado. Want me to keep going down the list and list? Dude, is this real life? All right, let's listen to JT Realmuto post-game on Wednesday prior to going to the Anytime Hotline call. So we'll take your reactions momentarily, and our last audio of some of the players speaking will be this right here. Take a listen.
Heck of a night. This has been a great run for you guys. A great run for you as well. Just describe it a little bit. You've been around the game a while. This is something that you can't forget, the way this team has started.
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, I've been playing this game a long time, and I don't know that I've ever been a part of a club that's just this complete and has this much fun playing together and, wins this many ball games. So it's been a lot of fun to play with these guys, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Talking about complete, heads up, incoming.
The man is sweaty enough.
That's cold.
That said a little good, right?
That was not a little water.
That was not a little water.
Talk a little bit about guys like Edmundo Sosa who come in when getting an opportunity, and Trey Turner going down, and what he's done for this club.
I mean, you can't say enough about what Sosa's done for us all season long. He's putting together great at-bats, coming through huge, big RBIs. You saw his huge swing tonight. The guy's playing great defense. That's what championship caliber teams do. When somebody goes down, you have somebody right behind them ready to step up and fill those shoes, and that's exactly what Sosa's done for us.
That's so right. Think about the brotherhood with this team. They're such a tight group. They really are. There is a bond that's different. As much as I mock Nick Sirianni basically every single chance I get the opportunity to, I hate the way he expresses his core values, but there is truth to the idea of connection, relationships, because when all the wires are properly wired together and it makes that spark, it's somewhat inseparable. I mean, it's the same when I'm talking about chemistry in the locker room. It's the same when you think of, like, for example, the way I feel about my wife. There is a spark there that it's real. It's legit. It is so powerful. That's why I felt like saying, yeah, let's do this. We're getting married. We're going to have kids. Let's go, baby. That bond is unbreakable. This locker room right now has that same exact feeling. That's that it factor, man. That's the it smells different stuff that I keep informing you all about. And yeah, I forgot all about it. JT mentions it, and Mundo Sosa starts the game off. Game 2 in this series, there was a bit of a hiccup over on the right side of the infield. Game 3 of this series, here's Edmundo Sosa. And this is after the fact that the game before, he's hitting a 3-run jack. A 3-run jack. So you're making every team who has a bad mistake pay harshly, and then you have your bench role utility weapons playing at an all-time high. Edmundo Sosa has to be playing his best ball of his entire career. And guess what? If it only happens the last one season and he has one of those, then I don't give a damn. Give me one of those. That's going to result in a 37-14 record through 51 games. Then sign me the hell up. All right? Let's go to the phones and listen to the great people.
You know what? I think we passed the test. I'm pretty damn certain we passed that test.
Mm-hmm.
We just swept out the defending champions. What more could all you naysayers out there in Atlanta and elsewhere want from us? We're doing things that haven't been done since the 1800s.
That's kind of scary because I feel I labeled it out almost the same way. For a second, I thought, did I call into the Anytime Hotline and leave a reaction to see if I'd accidentally play it later? Was that not freaky to anybody else? Because I got the game on to the left of me here, Pacers, Celtics. I got a few things going on in my mind right now. So there was, for about a half second, I almost dozed off. Not dozed off, I didn't just fall asleep on you guys, but, I got into a headspace, and I heard that, and it almost perked my ears up. It's freaky. All right, continue.
That is not something that just happens just because you're facing a bunch of bad teams in a row.
Right.
That requires something very special. And if you still don't think after all this time that we had it, you're delusional. That's all I have to say. This team is freaking amazing, and the ride is so fun at this point. I am so freaking psyched to see what this team does next because they're not stopping anytime soon as far as I'm concerned.
Couldn't agree more with you. And sure, there will be peaks and valleys, and this is what's going to happen, I know. And I also mentioned that I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but they are going to drop a series at some point, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. But they will. And it might happen against a good team. But when you do what you do, 9 series in a row, there will be a 10th series. There will be an 11th series. There will be a series coming up that you do win 1 of 2 instead of 2 of 3. Or you go 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 1, right? And that's going to be against a team that's 5 games over 500. Then you'll get one of those on social. Whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, we can't worry about that stuff. I'm trying to make a pact here and start something where we just forget about that nonsense. But it's hard when you have some of your own fans making comments as well, because I was on WIP Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and I will not forget it. Harry from Phoenixville called in, and it was so alarming that others called in wondering how was that even possible. And Harry said he's bored. He doesn't like all the winning because he could barely watch and it's not fun. Older gentleman, and acknowledged how silly this sounded and said, maybe it's just me, but he said there's zero competition in this league. No teams are talented. So the Phillies doing this, he's got no value in it whatsoever. And part of my response, and I'll find ways to paraphrase a little bit here because I thought it was an interesting discussion, but, I do think that there's an argument made. As a hockey guy, I hear it a lot in the NHL as the Seattle Kraken entered the league, and new teams are starting. The idea of some new teams are flirting around there and whatnot. whatnot. So they're trying to expand. Dave Dombrowski almost expand Major League Baseball. So is it watered down? Are some of these leagues watered down because cities could feel like they can make money and there's some teams that don't deserve to be in the league? And if you wanted to sit down and really talk about the intricacies of that, maybe there's something to it. And look, I don't think that there's a billion teams this season that are just excellent, but I don't care. If there's only 4 good teams in the league this year, let's just say hypothetically, and the Phillies are one of those 4, why is that my problem? Why is that my problem? I don't understand why that's something that would devalue winning as much as they're not just good and winning, you know? Like if you can enjoy this 37 wins and 51 starts, then what would it be? And I guess those people would say a championship. And I agree. Of course. I don't want this to be 2011. I want this to be 2008. Of course. But you can't find any joy in this, Harry, as a Phillies fan, because you think the league only has 4 good teams? Your team, Harry, is one of them. Your team is one of those 4 good teams. So embrace it. It could be worse. You could be one of the bad teams. You could have to tune into what the New York Mets have to tune in on a night-to-night basis. You want to do that, Harry? So you got your own fans with that thought process of, I'm bored. They're just going to win anyway. It's a story when they lose. Yeah, that's a good thing, Harry. That's what you demand a franchise to do. So let me get this straight. There's a lot of people in town that hate the Sixers. If Joshua Harris had the team win all the time nonstop with the chemistry that felt like LeBron James with the Miami Heat their second year or their third year, you're going to say you wish it was back when you hated Joshua Harris and David Blitzer and all those guys. It's what you want. Now you're getting it. Now Harry doesn't like it. Come on, Harry. Come on, older gentleman. Let's get it together.
Hey, bros, I got to make this nice and sweet. I got to leave soon to graduate. But
oh, hold on a second. 1, congratulations. 2, how about this? Thank you so much. How about this? Mid getting ready for graduation. Yo, I got to run real quick. I got to get out of the house. I got something to do today. Graduate. I got to react to the fightings, though. Dude, come on, man. From the bottom of my heart, that's fucking electric. That's electric.
Absolutely what an unbelievable sweep by the Phillies. The last team in this schedule I saw coming that the Phillies can possibly sweep. And you're going to frown upon me, bros, but I actually thought the Phillies were the ones that were going to get swept. Because knowing this team, not a lot of people know, before we met them this year, they won 12 straight games against us. What an unbelievable sweep by this squad. And I got to say one more thing. JT Realmuto is heating up very well. Thank you. Bye.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on the graduation, man. That's so awesome. Can't wait to see what's next for you. Keep us involved here. Keep us invested, man. We want to know what's the next step for you. So appreciate the call. And yeah, I didn't think they'd get swept. I did see all of the stats to say that the Phillies have had a very difficult time facing Texas. They had not had a lot of success over the last X amount of games or whatever. But look, I by no means I think they'd get swept. Right? Like I said, at some point, they are going to drop a series because you can't keep it up forever unless you can, of course. And they might because they are different, because they are them, as Jalen Hurts would say. Or who was it in WWE who just got caught up from NXT? Carmelo Hayes. He is him. For any of you WWE guys, they are them. They might take this all the way. You know, meaning undefeated the rest of the way in the regular season. That's what I mean by that. And the fact that I can actually say that jokingly, but almost not jokingly, puts a big smile on my face, baby. All right, what's next?
Bros, this Whit Merrifield guy, got to get him out of here. I mean, he got on base today, but simply off of an errant throw. Dude doesn't even know how to slide right into the outfield to catch a fly ball. But we're not going to let that go against, how good the Phillies have been. They look great, and we got to maybe just trim some fat off the team here at the deadline before we make this run.
I don't see that happening. I don't think that they're trimming any fat. Now, I trust Dave Dombrowski with my life, so whatever he decides to do, I say go ahead, and I will convince myself that it was perfect. And yeah, I mean, Cody Clemens is on the roster right now. What's going to happen when people return? Trey Turner, this and that. Pat Shea, where he's at with his contract. Just looking at some things. There's reasons why certain names might stay, who's going to go, this and that. It'll be fascinating, but I'm not out on Whit Merrifield totally. This team is putting on a clinic right now. I'll play the game here. Kyle Schwarber hasn't hit a home run in how many days? I'm not ruling him out yet. And I don't think you're trimming fat. I think you're just bringing guys in. That you're going to be bringing guys in, and meaning a right-handed pitcher, maybe to solidify the bullpen. You're making additions at the deadline, and of course, that comes at a cost, but you got to pay that price. But no, I mean, come on, man. This team's got it going. This team's it. I ain't worried about a Whit Merrifield not playing great right now. I ain't worried about that stuff. Sosa is. And then there's going to be a time where Sosa gets back to reality, or Clemens goes back to reality a little bit, and then Whit Merrifield will have more juice and look like that savvy veteran that we all expected. It'll be something like, and it probably won't be as sexy as people would prefer, maybe. Meaning Taijuan Walker, for example, when he didn't even allow the run because there was an error, but when there was one run scored in the first inning, you would have thought on Twitter that this guy just allowed 7 earned runs in the first inning. It was a disgusting display of defense by Bryson Stott and Bryce Harper, and your takeaway is screw Taijuan Walker because he allowed a single in that inning? It's crazy. What is the standard? No earned runs ever? So my point is, his first 3 starts were what? Really good, 6 innings pitched, and then Rob gave him a leash for the 7th, then things started to unravel a little bit, but 6 strong innings in each of his first couple of starts is no joke, and it was looked upon as, whatever, yawn, Taijuan Walker stinks, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think Whit Merrifield will have an equivalent of going 6 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, but because it's Whit Merrifield, no one would give it love, and at some point that's what's going to happen, and maybe it comes at a big time. They seem to have the timely moments, don't they? They seem to have those timely situations where we need a Pache triple, boom. We need a Sosa 3-run jack, boom. Well, because everyone has been able to do it, at some point, I do think deep down, Whit Merrifield will have that triple, will have that home run, will have that walk-off that can help snowball something in a positive light. He just needs something to feel good about himself, and it'll happen. I do think it'll happen. So I think Whit Merrifield could be a Taijuan Walker type of situation, 170-plus innings in previous years that Taijuan Walker would eat. He missed a couple of starts in the beginning of the season, but he'll still eat a really solid, strong amount. Well, Whit will have some solid, strong amount of the equivalent of eating innings for this team, and he'll start to come to life. I do think that. With the long game of Whit Merrifield, I will play, especially when it's a guy who's got 1,200 hits in Major League Baseball. And just last year, for at least the first half plus, that dude was smoking around a really good average. So it's not as if he's been removed from strong play for 3 years and we're banking on something that happened decades ago. Half a calendar flip. That's my thought on it. But thank you guys all so much. I greatly appreciate it. Love you guys to death, and I will see you all on the next one.